Shocking as it may be, an estimated 40,000 children are exploited in the sex industry in Thailand each year, a number that continues to rise. This sinister reality is a chilling reminder of a society's darker underbelly, a place where innocence is stolen and childhoods are lost. Please watch to the end, last part will shock you. But wait, before we begin, please subscribe to ensure that you never miss out on any of my crucial stuff. Comment "I subscribe" below, and I will personally welcome you to our community. Let's get started. Thailand, a land known for its picturesque landscapes and rich culture, harbors a distressing secret, a secret that is growing graver with each passing year. The escalating issue of child prostitution is not just a local problem, but a global concern, with its roots deeply embedded in poverty, lack of education, and societal norms. To comprehend the magnitude of this issue, we must delve into the numbers. The estimated 40,000 children forced into the sex industry is not a mere statistic. It represents the lives of the innocent, the futures that are unknowingly traded away, and the dreams that are ruthlessly shattered. Experts, activists, and social workers tirelessly studying this issue have offered their insights, shedding light on the underlying causes. Poverty is a significant factor, forcing families to sell their children into this harsh reality, driven by desperation and a lack of alternatives. The deficiency of education plays a pivotal role too. Without access to quality education, these children are left vulnerable, stripped of opportunities to escape the vicious cycle of poverty and exploitation. But perhaps the most disturbing factor contributing to this issue is the societal norms and attitudes that continue to perpetuate this grave injustice. The normalization of child prostitution, reinforced by the demand from sex tourists, creates an environment where such exploitation is not only tolerated, but also alarmingly accepted. As we delve deeper into this grave reality, we must remember that these children are not just numbers in a report. They are individuals with dreams, aspirations, and the right to a safe and secure childhood. This is not just a number, but a reflection of lost childhoods and stolen innocence. Behind the glitz and glamour of Thailand's tourism industry lies a dark, hidden world. A world that thrives in the underbelly of this enchanting land. A world that is as grim as it is heartbreaking. Tourism drives Thailand's economy in a significant way, attracting millions of visitors from across the globe each year. But there's a sinister side to this story. The influx of tourists also fuels a thriving and nefarious sex industry, a trade that often traps the most vulnerable in society, children. It's a dire situation that many of us would rather turn a blind eye to, but the truth remains. There's an increasing number of underage girls and boys being forced into prostitution, their innocence stolen away in the blink of an eye. And the worst part? Many tourists, knowingly or unknowingly, become participants in this heinous act. And Professor Elena Rutherford, a renowned sociologist specializing in human trafficking, paints a harrowing picture. The issue of child prostitution in Thailand is a complex and multifaceted problem, she explains. Poverty, lack of education, and systemic corruption all contribute to creating an environment where such exploitation can flourish. And the sheer number of tourists visiting the country only exacerbates the issue. Despite this, it's important to note that not all tourists are complicit in this atrocity. Many are oblivious to the true age of the individuals they encounter in bars and clubs, misled by the cunning tactics employed by those running the trade. This lack of awareness, however, doesn't absolve them of the moral implications of their actions. In essence, the very thing that brings prosperity to Thailand, tourism, also carries with it a dark side. It becomes a conduit for an industry that thrives on exploitation, an industry that preys on the innocence of children, robbing them of their childhood and dignity. Tourism, a major revenue source for Thailand, inadvertently becomes a facilitator for this heinous crime. And as we delve deeper into this grim reality, we ought to remember that every choice we make as tourists and as human beings can have far-reaching consequences. In a society where women are expected to be the pillars of the family, many find themselves selling their bodies just to make ends meet. This is a harsh reality for many women in Thailand. Driven to the brink by economic hardships, they find themselves in the world's oldest profession, not out of choice but out of desperation. Take the story of May, a 35-year-old woman from a farming village in the northeast. When the crops failed and the money ran out, May came to the city hoping to find work and support her family. Instead, she found herself in the neon-lit streets of Pattaya, trading her dignity for a few hundred baht. Or consider the case of Nok, a single mother from the slums of Bangkok. With no education or job prospects, she found herself in the clutches of a local pimp who promised her a way to feed her young daughter. But the promise turned out to be a dead-end street, leading to a life of servitude and abuse. These women, like countless others, are seen not as individuals with dreams and aspirations, but as commodities to be bought and sold. They are trapped in a vicious cycle where their bodies are their only currency, and their worth is measured by the desires of others. And let's not forget the societal stigma attached to these women. Often they are blamed for their circumstances, their morality questioned, their pain overlooked. They are judged and ostracized, their voices silenced by the clamor of prejudice and misconception. It's a tragic paradox that in a society where women are revered as mothers, daughters, and sisters, they can also be reduced to mere objects of carnal desire. It's a grim reminder that the chains of poverty and desperation can lead to unimaginable suffering. These women are victims of circumstance, trapped in a cycle of exploitation and poverty. They are not just statistics or faceless figures in the shadows, they are human beings deserving of dignity, respect, and a chance at a better life. Before we continue, can I beg a little favor? If you're liking what you're hearing, show us some love by pressing that like button. And hey, if you want to be in the loop for our fantastic upcoming videos, make sure to press subscribe and ring that bell so you're always in the know. Oh, and one more thing. Drop a quick "I subscribe" down in the comments and I'll make sure to offer you a warm welcome to our amazing family. Alright, enough of that. Let's keep the conversation flowing. Children, the most innocent of us all, are being robbed of their childhood and forced into a life of unimaginable horror. Let's delve into the heart-wrenching stories of these innocent lives, who are manipulated and coerced into an industry that thrives on their vulnerability. Like Somsri, a child of merely 12 years who was forced to trade her dreams for a nightmare. Her story is not unique, but representative of countless children who are thrust into this dark abyss. Then there's Pichai, a boy of just 14, who was sold into this industry by his own family, a tragic testament to the desperation that drives this exploitation. He was ripped from his childhood and thrown into a world that no child should ever know. These stories are not anomalies, but rather a chilling reflection of a broader systemic issue that runs deep in the veins of our society. Renowned psychologists have shed some light on the devastating impact this has on these children. They are robbed not just of their innocence, but also their mental and physical health. The trauma they endure often leads to severe psychological disorders, from depression to post-traumatic stress disorder. Their physical health, too, is compromised, with numerous cases of untreated sexually transmitted diseases and unwanted pregnancies. And what about the protective measures? Unfortunately, they are grossly insufficient. While there are laws in place, enforcement is often lax, and the punishment seldom fits the crime. We find ourselves in a battle against not just the perpetrators, but a system that often turns a blind eye to these atrocities. The fight to protect these children is a daunting one. It's a fight against poverty, against corruption, against societal norms that have been ingrained for far too long. But it's a fight we must not shy away from. These children are not just statistics, they are lives scarred by an industry that preys on their vulnerability. Let their stories serve as a stark reminder of the urgency of this issue and the need for us to take action. As shocking and heart-wrenching as this reality is, it is not insurmountable. Yes, we have the power to change this. We, as a global community, have the responsibility to protect the vulnerable and bring an end to this inhumane cycle. The first step towards a solution lies in the hands of lawmakers. Stricter laws should be implemented to deter these immoral activities. Penalties must be harsh enough to make any potential offender think twice. But laws alone won't suffice. We need improved enforcement. The local authorities, with international support, need to be vigilant, ensuring these laws aren't merely words on paper. Education is another powerful tool in this battle. By providing quality education to these children and women, we can offer them alternatives, opportunities for a better future. Education can empower them, giving them the skills and knowledge to break free from the chains of exploitation. Poverty, too, plays a significant role in this grim tale. It's often the desperate need for survival that drives individuals into this path. Therefore, poverty alleviation must be a priority. Efforts should be made to create jobs, provide financial support, and improve living conditions. By reducing poverty, we can reduce the desperation that often leads to such exploitation. Experts from around the globe echo these sentiments. Social activists, psychologists, economists, and lawmakers agree that a multi-pronged approach is needed, one that involves law, education, economic upliftment, and societal change. However, this fight cannot be won alone. It requires collective action, a global partnership. Governments, non-profit organizations, and individuals alike must unite against this injustice. Public awareness and international pressure can make a significant difference. It's not about pointing fingers, it's about extending hands. Hands that can help, guide, and uplift. It's about creating a world where every individual, regardless of their circumstances, has the opportunity to lead a dignified life. It's time to turn the tide on this grave issue. It's time to give these children and women a chance at a life they truly deserve.